Well, welcome back, everybody. Filet mignon here from Medium Rare Poetry, getting over my bout of man flu, so I've still got a croaky voice, so please excuse that. But I had to get on because I feel so deeply for our American friends who are having to put up with the maniac that's entitled himself the president, because he is just so unstable that no one really knows where they're going apart from the unemployed. And they can't go to the unemployment office because they're not entitled to any unemployment benefits. It's just awful. So I am presenting this poem from my playlist entitled The Chronicles of Mania, just to keep up to date with what has been happening just recently in America. So I present to you Melting Moments. Melting Moments by Filet Mignon. America was heating up, and not through change of season. An orange flame ignited, bringing heat for no good reason. Unlike the warming frog within a pot that slowly boils, the populace was conscious that their lives were on the spoil. The mango menace, tainted by his maniac disorder, broke all his institutions by administrative orders, and no one in the Congress had the valor to oppose him. Everyone was burning, yet their hearts remained deep frozen. The genius, invoking tariffs right across the world, sent markets into meltdown as the consequence unfurled. His shrewdest of manoeuvres was to make the world bow down and crawl unto his highness for concessions from his crown. The empire of elite was viewed as hollow, stuffed with bluff, and so the trading partners with one voice employed rebuff. The industries to suffer were American for sure. They'd sent their operations to the cheapest source offshore. The cost of every item on the supermarket shelf went through the roof in seconds, driven by the greedy elf. The sorcerer's apprentice fired thousands with one stroke. No validation given, unemployment payments choked. Fairness in the forces was rescinded as a blight. It seemed that those preferred to serve were masculine and white. Tattooed, tanned Americans, methodically harangued, deported to El Salvador as members of a gang. Food works, once inspected, shunned the magnifying glass. Bird flu, salmonella, and mad cow were free to pass. The pristine native forests were laid open to machines to rape them of their timber and to drill the gas-filled seams. The water safe for drinking was no longer checked for lead. A multicoloured stream now flowed from pipes at home instead. The safety checks for transport were abolished there and then, so planes and trains and trucks became the toys of businessmen. Education was erased, all funding rules were tinkered. You mustn't have a well-read class of logical free thinkers. Research into diseases was obliterated fast. Expectancy to thrive alive, a memory of the past. The funding for all veterans was summarily dismissed. Bone Spurs viewed their service as a monetary abyss. Counter to the common sense espoused upon the hill, the victims of these cuts had all been trained to hunt and kill. The IRS was gutted, so no taxes were received. That was plain insanity. Bankruptcy was conceived. There wasn't a department to avoid this dose of prunes. America, at this rate, would be on its knees by June. Although the courts were harnessed to extinguish this great fire, King Galoot ignored them in a frenzy of great ire. Each weekend he escaped the heat of tariffs and embargoes by heading off in Air Force One for golf at Mar-a-Lago. Behind the scenes in White House world, the stress was uncontrolled, with egos overheating like a chili casserole. The in-house drugstore overworked, ran out of ketamine. The Musket ears were glowing red, the scene was Byzantine. Without his mother's helper in his treasured diamond locket, the lone Musk felt discomfort, tiny hand in his back pocket. Vapid Vance felt out of sorts, he had no one to sack. The VP had no power, a mere mouthpiece for Hunchback. Increase the heat, and sure enough the strongest form will melt. Instead of wine and roses, only charring will be smelt. And so it was across the land the chickens came to roost. The heat became unbearable, the meltdown was let loose. The people in their millions merged their voices as one mob. They surely had the time to spare, for no one had a job. Rallies were fantastic, even MAGAs joined right in, the worst of all affected by their idol of all sin. At last, Republicans awoke, but just to pack their bags. The fire that was raging turned their suits to charcoal rags. Black and oozing lava issued from the White House plot, with motorcades escaping, finding power way too hot. The founder of the Whisky leaks was too far gone to care. Navarro of the Tariff had a stupid, starry stare. These melting moments were foretold, but no one gave a jot, until their country liquefied by greed that's way too hot. The artist of the deal reversed his levy gravy train. When U.S. bonds deflated, his lifeblood went down the drain. Too little and too late, the damage was too big to quell. His polar caps were melting, and his hair fell out as well. His business chums were shot of him, their funding checks all bounced. They saw the error of their ways, allegiance was renounced. The U.S. is a melting pot, despotic kings should cower. The roiling flow of freedom is a spring of people power. What a wild ride, and wasn't just the recent hands-off protest not only in all 50 states of America, but in other parts of the world as well. Weren't they fantastic? Isn't it marvellous when people get together? And in the Northern Hemisphere, it's not even summer protest time yet. So the momentum is building. These people can't go on doing this. And it's only the people, not the Congress, not anyone else, but the people who have to drive the change to erase this administration out of existence. And I'm backing you all the way in a rhyming sort of way. Anyway, I hope you like the poem. Please like, share and subscribe, and press the notification bell so that you can be notified when the next one's coming. And I look forward to seeing you next time, and stay strong. Bye bye for now.